Ladies and gentlemen, many times in life, people give up on their dreams, not because the dream was impossible, but because their method was limited. They confuse failure with finality. They think that if it didn't work once, it won't work ever. But the truth is this: your dream is still alive. It's just waiting for a new approach. Think about it. The dream you carry was planted in you for a reason. It wasn't given to you to tease you, to frustrate you, or to abandon you. It was given to you because you have the capacity to fulfill it. The problem isn't the dream. The problem is the approach. And when you change your approach, you change your results. Let me tell you something powerful. A setback is not the end. It is a setup for a greater comeback. If one strategy fails, find another. If one door closes, knock on 10 more. If one path is blocked, carve a new road. Persistence with creativity always beats resistance with excuses. You must learn to adapt. Life will not hand you success because you wish for it. Life gives it to those who are bold enough to reimagine their strategy, discipline their habits, and stretch their comfort zones. Do not bury your dream because the first attempt didn't work. Instead, upgrade your method, sharpen your skills, and fuel your determination. Your dream is non-negotiable. Your dream is your calling. Your dream is your future. Don't abandon it. Adjust your approach, and you will discover that success was waiting for you all along. Too many people make the mistake of believing that when they fail once, it's over. They convince themselves that because it didn't happen on the first try, the dream has expired. But let me tell you something: a dream doesn't die just because you stumbled. A dream doesn't vanish because the first door didn't open. If that dream is still burning in your heart, it's alive, and it's waiting for you to rise up again. Your dream was placed inside you for a reason. It is not random, and it is not an accident. Think about it. Why do you feel so deeply about it? Why does it tug at you even when you try to ignore it? That's because it belongs to you. Other people may laugh at it, they may doubt it, they may call it impossible, but it wasn't given to them. It was given to you, and because it was given to you, only you have the power to bring it to life. The problem is when people encounter resistance, they think it's a sign to quit. They think the universe is saying no. But often, resistance is just a test. It's asking, how much do you want this? How deeply are you committed? Will you fight for this, or will you fold under pressure? Every dreamer will be tested not to destroy the dream, but to refine the dreamer. Think about the stories of great innovators, leaders, and achievers. Many of them were told no hundreds of times. They were rejected, dismissed, ridiculed, and overlooked. But here's the difference: they didn't bury their dream. They refused to write the obituary of their vision. Instead, they reminded themselves daily, my dream is still alive. And because they held on to that truth, they found the strength to keep pushing forward. Even when life gets heavy, even when your circumstances scream that it's impossible, your dream doesn't vanish. It might get buried under doubt. It might get hidden under fear. It might get delayed by failure, but it's still there. Like a seed under the soil, it's alive, waiting for the right season, the right conditions, and the right effort to sprout. The seed of your dream never loses its power. It just needs you to believe in it again. So when you wake up in the morning and that whisper of doubt tells you to let go, answer back with conviction. My dream is not dead. It may take longer than I thought. It may require more than I imagined, but it is still alive in me. And if it's alive in you, that means it's possible. That means it's worth fighting for. That means you haven't seen your best days yet. One of the biggest mistakes dreamers make is thinking the first plan is the only plan. When it doesn't work out, they abandon the dream altogether. But hear me clearly, the dream remains the same. even if the strategy changes. The vision doesn't have to be sacrificed. What must be adjusted is the method. Roads may bend, bridges may collapse, storms may delay you. But if you stay committed to the vision, you will always find another route. Think about it. When a river flows and a rock blocks its path, the water doesn't stop moving. It doesn't say, well, I guess this is the end. No, it finds another way. It bends, it curves, it carves new routes. The water never forgets its destination. It just adapts its course. And that is exactly how you must approach your dream. The vision remains, but the route can and must change. Many times, failure is not a sign that the dream is wrong. It's simply a sign that the method is outdated. Just because the way you tried didn't bring results doesn't mean the dream itself is impossible. It means you need a new strategy, a fresh approach, a different angle. That's why the most successful people are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who refuse to let one failed method define their journey. Imagine an architect designing a building. If one design fails the safety test, the architect doesn't abandon the idea of the building. He revises the plan. He improves the structure. He changes the materials. But the vision of the building remains the same. The same principle applies to you. You don't downgrade your dream. You upgrade your blueprint. Every vision requires flexibility. Rigidity will destroy you because life will never give you a straight, easy road. The world is full of detours, full of setbacks, full of unexpected turns. If you cling to only one way, you'll miss the 100 other ways available to you. But if you learn to be adaptable, to try new approaches, to innovate when things collapse, you will discover that the dream is still within reach. It just needs a new path to get there. So when your first attempt doesn't work, don't bury your dream in the graveyard of broken plans. Remind yourself the vision hasn't changed. What I see in my heart is still possible. All I need to do is shift my method, adjust my strategy, and keep moving forward. The dream is permanent, the methods are temporary. And when you understand that truth, failure loses its power to stop you. Failure is not the enemy, it is the teacher. Too many people run from failure as if it were a sign of weakness, but the truth is, failure is simply feedback. It's life's way of showing you what doesn't work so you can get closer to what does. Every time you fail, you are gathering information, collecting wisdom, and building resilience. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process that leads to it. Think about a child learning to walk. That child falls again and again, but those falls are not failures. They are feedback. Each fall strengthens the legs, improves the balance, and teaches the body how to stand longer the next time. If a baby gave up after falling, none of us would ever learn to walk. Yet as adults, one stumble makes us think the journey is impossible. The truth is, those stumbles are the training ground of your success. Every inventor, every creator, every achiever has faced failure. Thomas Edison didn't fail 1,000 times when creating the light bulb. He found 1,000 ways that didn't work. Each attempt gave him feedback that brought him closer to the one that would. That's the same principle for you. Each time you try and fall short, you're not losing, you're learning. The failure is carving wisdom into your experience. Wisdom you can't gain from comfort or success alone. The challenge is most people misinterpret failure. They see it as rejection instead of redirection. They say, this didn't work, so I must not be good enough. But failure is not saying you're not good enough. It's saying, try another way. It's whispering, adjust, adapt, refine. If you listen to failure as feedback instead of condemnation, it will guide you toward better decisions, sharper strategies, and stronger results. Failure also reveals character. When you fail, you see what you're made of. Do you quit, or do you rise again? Do you complain, or do you commit? Failure will strip away excuses and test your persistence. It will either break you down or build you up. The choice is yours. But if you see it as feedback, you will use the lessons, not lose the lessons. So every time you fail, don't hang your head in shame. Lift your eyes with determination and ask, what is this trying to teach me? What wisdom is hidden in this pain? What adjustments must I make? If you embrace failure as feedback, it stops being a wall and becomes a window, showing you the next step on your path to success. Persistence alone is powerful, but persistence combined with creativity is unstoppable. Too many people believe that persistence means doing the same thing over and over until it works. But persistence without flexibility can become stubbornness, and stubbornness can trap you in cycles of frustration. The key is to keep moving forward while allowing your mind to explore new solutions, new ideas, and new approaches. That is how persistence transforms into victory. Think about it. The most successful people in history were not just persistent, they were innovative. They refused to quit, yes, but they also refused to stay stuck in the same failed patterns. They asked new questions. They tried unconventional methods. They looked where no one else was looking. And because they kept going with fresh creativity, they opened doors that others thought were locked forever. Persistence is your engine, and creativity is your steering wheel. One without the other will not take you far. If you only have persistence, you may keep running in circles. If you only have creativity, you may never stick long enough to see results. But when you blend the two, when you persist in the pursuit of your dream while allowing creativity to guide you, you will discover possibilities that others can't even imagine. Consider the story of entrepreneurs who started with nothing. They faced rejection, financial struggles, and doubt from the world. But instead of quitting, they persisted, and each setback forced them to think differently. They discovered new markets, invented fresh strategies, and built solutions that didn't exist before. Their persistence kept them in the game, and their creativity changed the rules of the game. Life will test you with challenges designed to wear you down. Obstacles will come to see if you really want what you say you want. And in those moments, persistence will keep you standing, but creativity will help you find a way through. If the front door is locked, persistence will keep you knocking, but creativity will remind you that you can climb through the window or build a brand new door of your own. So when you feel like quitting, remember this: it's not just about holding on, it's about holding on wisely. It's about pushing forward with vision, with imagination, and with a willingness to adapt. Persistence makes sure you never stop, and creativity makes sure you never stop growing. Together, they form a force that nothing in this world can defeat. Every dreamer faces setbacks. They come in the form of rejection, failure, delays, and disappointments. At first, it feels like life is pushing you backward, pulling you away from your goal. But here's the truth: a setback is not the end. A setback is often the very thing that positions you for a greater comeback. What looks like a step backward is actually setting you up for a leap forward. Think about an arrow. Before it can be launched toward its target, it must be pulled backward. The tension, the resistance, the pulling away, it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. The farther back it is drawn, the greater its speed and distance once released. The same principle applies to you. The setbacks in your life are preparing you, building your strength, and positioning you to soar farther than you ever imagined. The problem is that most people misinterpret setbacks. They see them as punishment instead of preparation. They say, "Why me? Why now?" instead of asking, "What is this teaching me? What is this building in me?" The truth is, every setback carries a lesson, a gift, a hidden opportunity. If you see it only as defeat, you'll miss its purpose. But if you see it as a setup, you'll use it as fuel to rise even higher. History is full of people who turned setbacks into stepping stones. Great leaders, inventors, and visionaries were often ridiculed, rejected, and ignored at first. Their plans failed, their dreams were delayed, but they didn't stop. They used the pain, the disappointment, the delay as preparation. And when the time was right, they came back stronger, wiser, and more powerful because of what they had endured. Setbacks also humble you. They remind you that success is not handed out easily. They strip away arrogance, complacency, and shortcuts. They test your commitment to the dream. A setback asks, how badly do you want this? Will you give up now, or will you grow through this? And if you choose to grow, the setback becomes the foundation of your strength. So when you encounter obstacles, don't let them break you. Remind yourself, this is not the end, it's a setup. The job you lost, the opportunity that slipped away, the door that closed. It may be the very thing redirecting you to something greater. Life is not pushing you back to keep you down. It's pulling you back to launch you higher. The people who rise to greatness are not always the strongest, not always the fastest, and not always the smartest. The ones who succeed are those who can adapt. Life is unpredictable. Circumstances change. Plans collapse. The world shifts beneath your feet. And in those moments, the ability to adjust, to bend without breaking, to reinvent yourself, that is where true power lies. Adaptability is not weakness. It is not giving up on the dream. It is about shifting the strategy while keeping the vision alive. A rigid mind says, it has to work this way or not at all. But a flexible mind says, if this way doesn't work, I'll create another way. That is strength. That is creativity in motion. And that is the mindset that separates those who give up from those who go up. Think about nature. The trees that survive storms are not the ones that refuse to bend. They are the ones that sway with the wind, that yield when pressure comes, and then return upright when the storm passes. In the same way, life's storms will come to test you. If you stay rigid, you'll snap. But if you stay adaptable, you'll stand. Adaptability makes you unbreakable. When you face setbacks, adaptability gives you options. It teaches you that one door closing is not the end of the hallway. It pushes you to look for new doors, to carve windows, to build paths that never existed before. Those who adapt never run out of opportunities because they refuse to believe that there's only one way forward. They understand that the dream is fixed, but the journey is flexible. Adaptability also keeps you relevant. The world is always evolving. Technology changes, industries shift, people's needs grow. If you refuse to adapt, you will be left behind. But if you remain teachable, open, and willing to adjust, you will always find a place in the new world. The people who adapt are the ones who don't just survive change, they thrive in it. So when life forces you to shift, don't resist it. Don't cling to old methods that no longer work. Instead, remind yourself, my ability to adapt is my power. The plan may change 100 times, but the dream will remain alive as long as I have the courage to evolve with it. Adaptability is not about abandoning your goal. It is about outlasting every obstacle until the dream is fulfilled.